Hey, Team Numis Canada. That's what I call my subscribers. Hello, coin collectors, young and old, and anyone else that might be watching. Welcome to episode 2 of my father's coin collection that I inherited. And we have here the second bag. And of course, these are from the last bag. I went through and found some that I thought I should bring to your attention from the last bag. And we'll get into all of that right after this. Welcome back. Well, let's start off here. We have 5. I took a better look at these coins, and of course, we have a 1979 Jefferson nickel, and it has a slight die rotation. So, how cool is that? A 1981 Philadelphia, and it has a die rotation as well. See, it's a slight die rotation. And you may have noticed I've given my father's coin collection a name too. This one says a slight die rotation. And it's not quite as pronounced as the other ones. And I don't think you can see that. And a 1976 Philadelphia with a slight die rotation. A 1970 Philadelphia. It's funny, they're all Philadelphia with a slight die rotation. And in 1969, again Philadelphia, with this one is a slight rotation. And of course, these darker coins are harder to see. I'm going to have to get an accent light. I usually have one, but I haven't been using it lately. So let's pause and just go grab that, because you'll want to see what's in here, because there's definitely some interesting coins here. We'll be right back. There we go. We've got the accent light in now. Let's hope this helps. So let's get into this, and I'll sort all this out, and let's see if we can see those dark coins a little bit better. So it doesn't seem to be helping. See if we can focus. No, doesn't seem to be helping with these dark pennies. But I'll set these aside, and we'll be right back after I go through this and sort it. Welcome back. Well, it doesn't look very organized, but trust me, I have organized it into groups where I can at least see what I'm talking about. I have also separated out the world coins. The world coins are here. And because there was so much in this, I also will do the US coins separately, and they're in here. So this is just Canadian coins and tokens. So let's start off with what we have here. We have on way over here off to the side, we have number of tokens to go into. Then right here on the very edge of the screen are the 90s. These are the 80s. These are the 70s. This is all the 60s plus this. This is the 50s. And this is the 40s and earlier. And so we'll start off with the 90s because there's only 4 coins here. And we have here the first year of the toonie, 1996, of the $2 coin. The first toonie. And there we go. There's no... This one is real because they had it when he was collecting. They hadn't created the forgeries yet, or the counterfeit coins yet. So that one is a good toonie. And we have here a commemorative dollar. This one is a commemorative loonie from 1995. And it has soldiers. Let's see if we can shed a little light on that. So there's that lovely $1 coin. We have here a double dated nickel, which is 1867 to 1992. So I think it's Canada 125. And a Canadian penny from 1995. And I think there's still copper at that point. Of course, pennies don't show up well on even because that's just going to reflect the plastic. Let me take it out. Well, it's 95. Nothing really exciting about a 95 penny, except it's an example of a 95 penny. And there's only one. From the 80s, we have a 1986. And what's this one? This one is 1981. And of course, I'll go through these and check for errors later. And this is a 1986 Canadian penny. And that's from the 80s. Now, or 70, or that's from the 80s. Now we get into the dollar coins, and we have here a 1867 to 1982 Confederation Constitution. And of course, I'll take this one out because you'll want to see both sides of this coin. And so there's Queen Elizabeth. And there's the Confederation dollar coin from 1982. So I'll put that back in. And let's go over here. Now, we're going to skip those two first. And this is a 1984, Jacques Cartier dollar. And that's a nickel dollar. And we have a loon. And this one is from 1987. And this the second portrait of the Queen. And now this is a community dollar, a community token, and this is for the centennial of my hometown as a city, or as a town. My hometown became a city this year on the 100th anniversary of it being incorporated as a town. And 100 years earlier, it became a town from a village. So every 100 years, it has upgraded. So in 1880, Trenton was incorporated as a town. And in 1980, it was incorporated as a city. And this is a community dollar to commemorate the centennial of this community called Trenton. Prior to 1880, it was called Port Trent. The village was called Port Trent, but after that it became Trenton. And in 1880 and in 1980, it became incorporated as a city and has been mega-citied since then and is now part of the city of Quinte West. And that is the City Hall Tower here. And my hometown. And there are two of these. So how cool is that? So that's from the 80s. Now from the 90s we have very little this time. Or 70s we have very little. And this is a 1970 penny. Nothing really special there. We have a 1975 dime with a blue nose. And the second portrait of Queen Elizabeth. And this one is 1970. And here we go. Second portrait of Queen Elizabeth. Now we go into the 60s. And we'll start off with the pennies. And we have a 1969. $1964, the year my sister was born, with a Lauriate portrait of Queen Elizabeth. 1967, the centennial. And that was the year my baby brother was born. Another, and two more 1967s with a rock belt, the year my baby brother was born. And that's it for the pennies. Not as many pennies as there was the last time. Now we go into the nickels. And we have, from the 60s, we have 1960. And this is the multi-sided nickel. And of course, This has, the Lauriate portrait of Queen Elizabeth. We have another multi-sided nickel, and this is 1961. And of course, the Lauriate portrait of Queen Elizabeth. And we have 1962, which is the year I was born. I know I'm old. And of course, the Lauriate portrait of Queen Elizabeth. Now we go to 1967 with the rabbit and the second portrait of Queen Elizabeth. And we have here 1968. And the second portrait of Queen Elizabeth. Now we go into the dimes, and this is kind of where it starts to get exciting. Moving those out of the way because we get into silver. And we have lots of silver. These are all centennial silver mackerels. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of them. And of course, they have the second portrait of Queen Elizabeth. So 5 silver dimes. That's very cool. And we have a 1968 dime. Those are 80% silver. And this is a 1968 silver dime, which is 50% silver because in 1968, they started to make the dimes they started off with 50% silver, but then they switched to nickel. And that's a 1968 silver 50% dime. Now we have here 1965, 1964, 1961, 1962, 1960, and 1960. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 more silver dimes. How cool is that? And now we go to the 40s. I'm sorry, we go to the 50s. We'll start off with nickels. There's no pennies for that. We have the multi-sided nickel here. And of course, that is 1951 nickel, featuring the nickel mines in Sudbury. And that has King George the Sixth. Or King George the Seventh, my bad. And we have 1959 with a Lauriate portrait of Queen Elizabeth. And that is a multi-sided nickel. They weren't round, they were multi-sided. And 1957 with a Lauriate portrait of Queen Elizabeth too. How cool is that? Now we're into the dimes for the 40s, and the dimes in the 40s or 50s were also silver, and these are both 1957 with a Lauriate portrait of Queen Elizabeth. And let's go here. We have 2 half dollars, which are also silver, from 1952 and 1950. And King George. So 1952 and 1950 silver half dollars, and those are 80% silver. And I forgot to show you the half dollars and silver half dollars and dollars from the 1960s. So we have 1964 half dollar with a Lauriate portrait of Queen Elizabeth. Another 1964 with a Lauriate portrait. And we have, this one is in 2 pieces of plastic. And we have 1965 with the second portrait of Queen Elizabeth. Put that back in here. And we have a 1965 80% silver dollar in very good condition, I would say, with a second portrait of Queen Elizabeth. A 1963 dollar with a Lauriate portrait, and another 1963 dollar with a Lauriate portrait. So a lot of silver in this bag. And let's go over here to the 40s and set that one aside for now. We'll start with the nickels. And we have 1940, 1941, and 1947. So we'll start with 1940. With King George VI. $1941, and let's move that down. King George VI, 1947, with King George VI, and we're into the dimes, which are silver, 80% silver, and we have 1947 and 1949. And of course, those both have, let's see which one's better. That one's King George the Sixth, and we have a half dollar. This one's a tiny bit damaged on the one edge of it, but it is a 1943 half dollar with King George VI. How cool is that? Now, this is the oldest coin, one of the oldest coins, I believe, that is in this set. And this is a 1914 or 1914 1 cent. It's the large cent.
1 cent. $1914 with King George V. King and Emperor George V. Now, that's not all the currents we have from Canada. We have some Pre-Confederation coins as well. And these are from Newfoundland. And two of them are pennies. And they have the receipts. They have the price on it of $1.50, and it was purchased in 1968, September 10th, 1968. This is a 1919 large cent from Newfoundland. With King George V. And you see along the bottom it says Newfoundland. And my father paid $1.50 for that in 1968. Keep it in there. And this one is from 1917, and he paid $1.60 for this one. That was in fine condition, the one you saw before, and this one is VG for very good condition, and it was purchased in 1967. And that is 1917 large cent with King George V from Newfoundland. And I think the prize of this package goes to this next coin, because this coin is from Newfoundland as well, and it is I'm going to take it out of the plastic because it's in a little plastic holder. And we have here a 5-cent coin from Newfoundland from 1941. And it is smaller than a dime. There's a dime. It's smaller than a dime, and it is silver. A silver nickel. Before that, they were known as 5-cent pieces. They weren't known as nickels. And that's from Newfoundland as well. 1941, and this one has King George VI with a crown. Canada had no crown, but Newfoundland had the crown on King George VI. How cool is that? So that is the coins from this set, but it doesn't end there. We have some tokens. Now, these ones you've seen before because he's had one of these in the other bag, and these are the aluminum Apollo 11 tokens. So then here we have a Jacques Cartier token, who from 1491 to 1557. This is not that's not when this token is dated. It was dated for Trenton's centennial in 1980 because Jacques Cartier stopped in Trenton back in the 1500s, and the Trenton has been a community since the 1500s. And this was part around the same time, and of course they say he dragged the cannon up the mountain in Mount Pelion in Trenton because there's a cannon up top. I don't know if that's true or not. And of course, I might be mistaking it for Champlain. My bad. But, and of course, we have here a token, and this is from one of the whiskeys. And this is Hiram Walker's Goldcrest Canadian Rye Whiskey. And this is a token. And it has the Hiram Walker. I'm going to take it out because the plastic's really inhibiting. So that's the Hiram Walker crest. And you flip it, and it was all right, you pay, and it's the donkey's rear. So that's the tails of the coin. And this side, this coin was flipped, and of course you would get your whiskey shot free, and this way you would pay. Very silly coin. And other tokens that my father had, he had 3 of these in this bag. And these are no cash value tokens, carnival tokens. And I'm showing both sides at the same time. He had 3 of those. Now we go here, and this one, I'll take it out so you can look at it. This one is commemorating Charles and Diana's engagement in 1981. His Royal Highness the Prince of Wales and Lady Diana Spencer. He is King Charles now, and her eldest son is now Prince of Wales. And that has Queen Elizabeth in her second portrait on the reverse. So that's one of the medallions, and that medallion was issued to commemorate their marriage. And this one is I'm going to take this one out as well. And this one's a big chunky medal, and it is commemorating Queen Elizabeth's visit in 1977 to Canada. And it's a medal commemorating that visit with her royal crest on that side. How cool is that? And 2 more tokens to look at here. Now this one
I don't think it is a coin. If it is, it's hold. It's got a hole. And I believe this is Buddha. Buddha sitting. And on this side, it has a crane in the water. This is just a token. It's not a coin. How cool is that? And our last token for this bag is here, and it is the 125th anniversary of the Grand Lodge, 1855 to 1980, for the Grand Lodge of the Ancient, Free, and Accepted Masons of Canada. My father wasn't a Mason, but he knew Masons. If my father was a Mason, I don't know. I doubt it. But he was very well liked in his town and respected, and he may have been a special guest of the Masons at some point. I'm not sure how he would have gotten this, but there we go. So I think we're going to do the US coins in another video because this video is already quite long. But this is the Canada portion of my father's collection. And it is a lot of silver. How cool is that? I thank you for watching and hope to see you again soon. Bye for now.
And please remember to like, share, and subscribe, and keep on collecting.
Heart and broken dreams.